My name's Carla Heine, and I live in Sonoma, California. I take people on limousine tours of 13 sites of Sonoma's ghosts and legends. We visit all the places where historic events occurred, but also where paranormal events have occurred. I think Sonoma is the most haunted town in all of California. The main phenomena of paranormal activity is around the northeast part of the town. The sites of worship, whether it was Indian worship or Catholic worship, those have paranormal activity. We're going over to the Mission, and it is the very first spot where the Europeans really set their foot down in Sonoma. It was built by Indian slaves, and if you look here behind us, there's a sidewalk, and between these two sidewalks, 4 feet down, are the bodies of 1,200 men, women, and children, all of whom died during the smallpox epidemic. In fact, the ghosts of the Indians, they are considered still to be alive and wanting to go home. But right now, we drive over them every day back and forth, coming back and forth from Little League. It's really kind of shocking. The history of Sonoma is the place where the first American flag was raised in California. And during that time, it was the wildest place in the Wild West. It had the best of the bad. It had the best food, the best music, the best prostitutes. And when the Victorians arrived, they swept all that under the blanket. Here's a good example. Look at this seat. Right here, see this floor? No sidewalk. If the city fathers did not approve of what went on your property, if there was dicing, gambling, whoring, can I say that? Whoring? They wouldn't put in a sidewalk for you. Now we're at the corner of 1st Street West and West Spain Street, and since the historical district is only 1 square mile, you can walk anywhere in this town and see everything. And one of our most famous ghosts in Sonoma is the ghost of the 2nd floor here. He's a Chinese ghost, and being a long-term local, I've had a lot of different jobs here in town, one of which was as concierge for the Sonoma Hotel. And it would happen so often that I actually had a pat response when people would come down and tell me they'd been talking to the Chinese janitor. I would say, oh, that's very interesting. And they'd say, oh, yeah, he said this and this and this. And it was very interesting. And I'd say, no, I mean, it's really interesting. He's been dead for over 30 years. I'm one of those lucky people with a little psychic twinkle. That's how I'd put it. On my mother's side, my family dates back to some of the Salem witch trial families. But the thing that made a difference in my life here was that my mom and dad bought the old cavalry headquarters. And out of 15 rooms, this building had 8 ghosts. So other people in the town weren't afraid to tell me about the ghostly phenomena that occurred in their older houses too. So we're coming up Old Winery Road. And Buena Vista Winery, it's the oldest winery in California. It was formed as part of a Spanish land grant, and it's beautiful here. This is the most haunted building in all of Sonoma because 19 Chinese workers were killed when one of the caves in the back caved in. And it took them almost 4 days to die from lack of food and then finally lack of oxygen. And the people out here who were the owners came and had a long discussion about whether or not it would be worth the effort to dig out the brandy that was buried with them. Not the people, but the brandy that was buried with them. I think every culture has someone who's a rememberer. And in our town, I am the town's memory. And you can say, wow, these sound like really far out stories and Carla Heine's crazy. You can say that if you want. But the fact is, truth is stranger than fiction.
Is Sonoma haunted?
I don't have any proof.
I haven't seen anything here. I've seen things elsewhere, though.
No sightings. I haven't seen any, but I guess people may have had a little too much wine. They may see some things, so who knows.